Hello students. In the previous lesson, we have already talked about the post-fertilization changes. In this lesson, we are going to talk about another post-fertilization change, that is the development of dicote embryo. Now, in this dicote embryo, there are different types of development that takes place. Now, the first one is the zygote division, and the next one is the formation of globular and the heart-shaped embryo that occurs, which finally becomes the horseshoe shaped, resulting in the formation of a mature embryo. Now let us start with the zygote. It is a diploid structure, you can see here. Now it is formed due to the fertilization when male gamete fuses with the egg. Now we need to know which one is the chalazial end and which one is the micropylar end. You can see here I have already marked in red that this one is the micropylar end, which is represented as small m, and this one is the chalazial end, which is represented as C. Now this zygote undergoes mitotic division to form two cells, as you can see in the diagram. The one which is towards the micropyle, that is the basal cell, and the one which is towards the chalaza is the terminal cell. It is already marked in the diagram. Now this varies from different types of ovule. In anatropous ovule, that is the upside down, here the upper part is the terminal, that is towards the chalazial end, and the lower part is the basal, which is the micropylar end. Now here in this diagram, it is showing an orthotropous ovule where towards the micropyle is the upper part showing the basal cell, and the one towards the chalaza is the lower part, which is the terminal cell. So to avoid confusion, we should not use upper or lower part, rather we should always refer them as micropyle and the chalazial end for better understanding. Okay, now as you proceed further divisions occur, and the basal cell, it undergoes many transverse division, results in the formation of a long structure, and this long structure is known as suspensor cell. The cells of the suspensor towards the micropyle is bigger, somewhat rounded, okay, and it is known as haustorial cells. This one. Now the main function of the suspensor cell is to push the embryo deep into the endosperm. Okay. Now coming to the terminal cell. Now this terminal cell undergoes division in all planes. Now when the division takes place in all planes, we get a mass. It divides to form two cells and then four cells, which is known as the proembryo. Now this proembryo will give rise to embryo later on. Now this division goes on. Now let's see what happens in the proembryo. The division takes place one more time to form 8 cells, as you can see here. The 4-celled proembryo is known as the proembryonal quadrant, and the 8-celled proembryo is known as the proembryonal octant. Okay. Now, the diagram which you are seeing here right now is not the normal arrangement, as the division, as I've already said, the division is taking place in all planes. Now, they are basically a ball of cells, few are visible from the front and few are from the back. Since want to know the fates of the cells, we draw them in this manner so that all the cells are visible to us. Okay, now coming back. Now the suspensor cell will remain as it is, but the pro-embryo will become bigger. Now there is one cell which is in contact with the pro-embryo is known as the hypophysis. This part. Now other parts remain same with the hostorial cell at the end. The next change that occurs here is one more division takes place, and this division is periclinal. That is, there will be outer cell, as you can see here in the diagram, and there will be inner cell as well. The outer cell here is known as dermatogen, and this dermatogen will eventually give rise to epidermis. There is one more change that takes place in the pro-embryo. Now, next change that occurs will be observed in the hypophysis. Now, this hypophysis again divides and forms 8 cells. And these 8 cells have got different fates. This hypophyseal cells, it is already mentioned in the diagram. Rest of them, that is the suspensor and the hostorial cells, remains as it is or remains same. Now let's see the fates of the 8 cells. The 4 cells towards the suspensor, that is towards the micropyle, will give rise to root cap and root tip, which will ultimately form the radicle. The upper cells, which are in contact with the pro-embryo, give rise to root cortex. Okay. Now, let us talk about the cells of the pro-embryo. The lower part of the pro-embryo, that is half of the cells of the pro-embryo, this part, will give rise to hypocortile, and half of the cells towards the chalaza, this part, will give rise to plumule and the cotyledon. Now I have already told you that I have drawn this diagram in such a manner that you will get an idea about the fates. It is just a schematic representation. It does not happen in reality, just it is done to make you understand better. Now, what happens next? This particular form of embryo is known as the globular embryo. Now, there will be another change that is going to take place, and it will be not only in terms of shape but also in the formation of new tissues, new structure that will appear. Now, the 4 cells towards the suspensor divides continuously to form the root cap and the root tip, leading to the radical like structure as I have already mentioned. And the other 4 cells towards towards the chalaza, okay, it forms the cortex. This whole change forms the root part. Now, coming to the cells towards the hypophysis. These cells divide and form the hypocortile, and the upper half will become the cotyledon. Okay, the bulging structure, as you can see in the diagram here, this one, this bulging structure formed are the cotyledons, and the point here is the plumule. If you see the shape here, you will find that it looks somewhat like heart shape. So this type of embryo is known as heart-shaped embryo. Since this development is taking place inside a small embryo sac in the ovule, so enough space is not available. So the cotyledons during growth bends like this, and the shape changes to horseshoe shaped, as you can see in the diagram. Okay, now when we open a seed and open the seed coat, since we are talking about the dicot, so obviously we will get to see two cotyledons, as you can see in the diagram here. Two cotyledons. Now here you can see there is an embryonal axis here. Everything is marked in this diagram, and this is a point where the two cotyledons are attached. So we can say that the tip towards the chalaza is the plumule, and the tip towards the micropyle is the radicle. Here, tip towards the chalaza, here is the plumule, this part, and the tip towards the chalaza is the radicle. Now, there is the cotyledonary node where the cotyledons are attached to the embryonal axis. Now, another two areas are still left to be defined. The part between the cotyledonary node here and the plumule, meaning this part, is known as the epicotyle. Why epicotyle? Because it is above the attachment of the cotyledon point. And the part below the attachment of the cotyledonary point is the hypocotyle, this part. So, we have got an idea about the different parts of the dicot embryo. So, by now the embryo is fully formed where two cotyledons, as you can see in the diagram, these contain reserve food material. So, this is a complete formation of dicot embryo. In the next lesson, we are going to talk about the development, or rather a complete formation of monocot embryo. Thank you.